This video is gonna fall into two categories. One is health, even though I ain't gonna talk much about physical health, more about mental health in a way. And the other is BSS. And the final S stands for society. Because it is easier to notice certain things if we talk about them. Those of you who follow my channel will know that not so long ago I was on vacation in a naturist camp. And a naturist camp is a camp for people who camp naked. But that is not necessarily so nowadays. Because even though at the entrance there is a big sign with bathing suits crossed out, because it's a naturist camp, not a mixed camp. At the same time, there are important exceptions. The first is that you can only enter the reception with your clothes on. Okay, that's an edge case, because reception is at the very entrance, so maybe you are not fully in the camp yet. But there are two other exceptions. One is the shop inside the camp, and the other is a restaurant also inside the camp. And you cannot enter the shop or the restaurant or sit in front of the restaurant without being fully dressed. Fully dressed means at least the minimum possible bathing suit you can find. So, what is a rational explanation for that? The only possible rational explanation would be that nowadays we have a minimum hygienic standards. It's called HACCP in Slovenia, something similar where I was. I don't know how it is called elsewhere. But there are minimum hygienic standards that tell us what can we do and what can we not do in places where there is food, for example. But to claim that you are implementing those standards is laughable, because inside a shop, and we all know how do we do our shopping, or even in a restaurant where if you would be naked, it would be just enough if you would take your towel with you so you could cover where you sit. Otherwise, there is totally no difference if you come naked or if you come with a minimum possible bathing suit. So it's not that. And I do remember times when you could freely walk naked into a shop. When I was very little, I was in a normal camp that was just at the other side of a fence. There was an FKK camp, a naturist camp, and they were free to walk naked into a shop. I saw it. But then we were a communist country. We had churches but we had no one in the state that was openly promoting religious stuff on a country level, on a societal level of this kind. So nobody dare to say, what will God say? But today, in Croatia, where I was, they found God again. They are not a communist country anymore. So they are free to express their indignation if someone walks naked to a place where they work. So it's only logical that we cannot walk freely inside of a naturist camp with our clothes off anymore. So I guess that all proper, righteous people camp in a textile camp. And we were visiting such a textile camp every morning, because there was a lovely path from our camp to their camp, and we were walking our dog every morning, properly dressed with our t-shirts and our shorts, and we were observing what's going on in their camp. You know, there everybody has at least a bathing suit on. Well, do you know what I found out? That there was a restaurant there that did not accept those that were wearing just a bathing suit. You needed at least shorts and t-shirt to eat at that restaurant. So, funny enough, something that we had to do to be able to eat in our naturist restaurant was, in this camp, not enough to be able to eat. So it's not just being naked or being dressed. It's more, what must you wear? What kind of dresses are acceptable and what are not? For example, 10 years ago, and I guess it is still so, I was in Venice as a tourist. But there were signs everywhere telling us that a man should not take his t-shirt off. A man should always have the upper part of his body dressed in anything, but it must be dressed. Why? I think that it is easier if you have a t-shirt on. It is, I would always walk in a city with my t-shirt on. But why is there a sign telling me that it is forbidden, that I will pay Fine if I take my t-shirt off. And now let me tell you another story. A story that is related to health. Some time ago, I saw a documentary on YouTube about a tribe that has little, almost none, contact with our society. But they have some. And at the beginning, they were visited by people who told them that it is not proper to walk around naked, because they were a naked tribe. It's hot there. But it is not proper, so they brought them clothes. But they did not tell them that if you have clothes, you have to wash them. You have to take care of your clothes, and you have to take care of yourself somehow. Because in a jungle, first of all, they are always dirty because they don't wash their clothes. And second, there are all sorts of small animals that you have to take care of. And you cannot now because you are dressed. So you see, now they are proper, but their health is not okay. Why do we do that to other people? Why? I guess that it is important that we bring the word of our God to others, whoever our God would be, and especially if it is a Christian, a Jew, or a Muslim God, then we know that His word is also don't be naked. Isn't it funny how a deity that that can do anything, that created everything, made a mistake? Because if he sees the world, he says, oh, what a beautiful place I made. But if he sees a human, he says, oh, put some clothes on because you are ugly as hell. Is that a problem? Or is a problem that we were first not embarrassed of our body, and we are now? If that's the problem, then why can those people that are not embarrassed of their body anymore, why can they be free? Nobody is stopping people from being embarrassed. But why are those people that are not embarrassed being stopped? And isn't it funny that standards change from place to place? Somewhere you can wear nothing. Somewhere else you have to have at least your minimum bathing suit on. Somewhere else you have to have your t-shirt and your shorts on. Somewhere else you have to have long sleeves. And somewhere else, if you're a woman, you can barely see through your clothes. But I guess we can explain that. What is, for me, more disturbing is that we then laugh at each other. We don't try to realize that We are all in a mess. We just laugh when we see other people in a mess, in a weird situation. You know, in some countries it is perfectly fine to have for example, a woman almost naked on TV. The only important thing is that 4 minimum crucial parts are covered, and it is perfectly fine then. If one of those 4 parts would not be covered, it would be hell. But if all 4 parts are covered, it is perfectly fine. And people from that country are laughing at people from another country where women are covered from top to bottom, and they can only see a world through a mesh. I'm not saying that that's fine. Far from it. I'm just saying that from a freedom point of view, and also from a health point of view, because if your skin can interact with the sun, you can produce vitamin D, otherwise you cannot. From those points of view, in the first country, they are better off. But from the perspective of being suppressed in an illogical way that makes no sense, people in those 2 countries are in the same position. So my take on it is that we are suppressed. We were always suppressed. Maybe in last, I don't know, 4 decades, we were a little less suppressed, at least we Western countries were less suppressed than we used to be. Because when I'm 50, our grandparents, women used to cover their hair when they went out. So even if we are a little bit less suppressed sexually than we still are. And it is not getting any better. It is getting way worse. We were suppressed sexually, and I don't mean having sex. I mean being a gender. We were suppressed in the past, and it got a little bit better, and now it's getting way worse. And in the past, one of the tools to suppress us was to make us ashamed of our body. Nowadays, a tool is to disassociate our children from their body entirely. But that's a subject for another video. What I want to say today, my friend, is don't be ashamed of your body. Doesn't matter if you visit a naturist camp or not. If you are a Christian, Jew, Muslim, or an atheist, or whatever, a Buddhist, who cares? Whatever you are, whatever your world point of view is, ask yourself something. Do I really need to be ashamed of something so natural as is my body? Take care of yourself, my friend.